Hello everyone, we're here at Trevorth, looking at all the new spring bulbs coming up and listening to the birds that are they're singing so loudly today. It's so beautiful. I often come here for my half an hour of sitting in silence because it's just one of the most beautiful gardens I've ever been to. So just explaining a little bit more about how people turn out to be the way that they end up being, because there's a lot of blame and intention being put on these leaders who are so corrupt. They're being called monsters, and they are. Their behaviour very much is just so horrendous. It's hard to imagine that people can behave in such a way, but once you actually understand how they get to be that way, or how we all get to be the way that we are, then it sort of changes the way you look at life. That's not condoning behaviour at all, or not meaning that they need to be responsible for the terrible acts they've performed, but just to understand it changes how you see life and your own life. So if you imagine that in the first 7 years of life, a child's brain primarily works through what's called theta waves, which is like being in a hypnotic state. It's our version of what's handed down to us from our parents, how they see life, what their beliefs are, how they see relationships or money or success, is all passed on to us without us being able to censor any of the information or evaluate it or compare until after the age of 7. And it effectively goes into what you could call the hard drive of your mind, and is lodged there in your nervous system and in your thinking as being, that's right, this is the right way to see life. Everybody else's way is different, but our way is right. And only if you actually ever do start on an inner journey and start sort of evaluating what you've had passed down to you as your version of normal, do you ever start to sort of check in and think, well, maybe that wasn't so good. Maybe those beliefs that I had passed down to me weren't serving me or aren't serving me. Then you can start to change them. And it's very hard to change them because it's so connected to love and belonging and survival. When you start to see life this way, you start to understand how our leaders have become the way that they have.